Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll take a look at the economic data, we'll look at some news, then we'll do a market recap, and then we'll look at the trading opportunities. So today was the Fed day. We did have an interest rate decision here, and the Federal Reserve did hike rates by 25 basis points, bringing it from 4.75 up to 5% here. As you can see, the steady climb in interest rates. So yeah, we had that today, and tomorrow we will having building permits, initial jobless claims, and new home sales. So now we'll look at some news. This is a little just geopolitical news. I wanted to mention that we did have Xi in Moscow meeting with Putin. As you know, alliances around the world continue to strengthen in order to oppose the United States. They were stating that they are planning on just completely cutting out all U.S. dollar trade when it does come to like other countries that trading within the BRICS. Did have Ukraine winning backing for 15.6 billion in financing from the IMF. The first time the IMF has agreed to lend to a nation at war in its 77-year history. So that's definitely something very interesting that happened. We also have the White House saying that cryptos are worthless, basically. And here you have Bitcoin versus the banking crisis. As you can see, Bitcoin outperforming banks. The net worth of U.S. households has fallen by 4.1 trillion in 2022. The second largest decline since the Great Financial Crisis. Yeah, there's that. We do also have the median price of an existing home sold in the U.S. is down on a year-over-year basis for the first time since 2012. And we also have the credit default swaps on Capital One are now surging. So, yeah, we definitely still have a lot of risk here in the banking system. So now we'll look at some trades. Actually, wait, we're going to look at the market first. Starting here in the debt market, we have the 10-year yield. As you can see, big red day here, still sitting down here at the lower end of this weekly range. Big ranging candle here on the weekly chart, touching the midline and the lower extremes, sitting there kind of in the middle. Dollar, big red day here on the dollar too, getting continuation to the downside, pushing through the lower extreme here, getting really close to this lower band here on the weekly chart here. S&P 500, as you can see, big red day, a lot of selling today, getting back through that midline, working its way down here, the lower end of the range, wicking down below that midline there on the weekly as well. Still getting really tight range here on the weekly chart. Bitcoin, you know, red day here on Bitcoin, pulling back here towards this support here from Saturday. You know, just working its way, you know, back down a little bit. Trying to meet up here with this 20 EMA. XRP, big red day here in XRP, taking back a lot of the gains we had from yesterday, hoping we can't get it to hold kind of this previous, you know, resistance up here as some type of support, maybe get a big wick later. But yeah, it is wicking down back inside of that upper band here on the weekly chart. Oil, green day here in oil as well, getting a wick here, still below the previous support here from December. Red on the month was a large wick here off this support from December and like August back here, this structure. Gold, green day in gold, still sitting up here towards the upper end of this range, still looking for its push to all-time highs. Silver, big green day in here in silver, extending through Friday, the 17th highs, making its way up here towards this structured resistance. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of resistance up here towards that 24.5 level. So now we'll look at the trades here. So here we have the S&P 500 spotter ETF, the SPY. If you remember yesterday, we did get that pullback and then a nice push into the close. So today we did get a push into the open And then we sold off mid-morning, and then going into the Fed interest rate decision, as you can see, just insane volatility with just getting a massive, massive dump here into the close after the Fed rate decision. Yeah, if you look up here at the 2 hour, I did mention that a couple days ago that I thought this could potentially be some type of bear flag pattern. As you can see, we are, after we did wick off the upper trend here, we are piercing through the bottom trend as we are making our way down through this daily 200-day moving average here. We do have this lower band here on the 2 hour lining up kind of with this previous support here, so I would kind of watch that zone there. But let's go to the 5 minute, look at the trades. Actually, let's look at the daily, see what kind of volume we got. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just pure red. Just all selling today. Yeah, there's not even a sliver of green in there. Usually, most days have, like, at least a little bit of something. Like, you see a little bit of green here on that day. But today, I mean, there's just all red. So we'll look at the 5 minute here. So there was actually a really nice trade here in the morning for put options. So if you remember yesterday, we did have these kind of descending channel here that was a good opportunity for calls. And then we just, drew this trend line from that uptrend we got yesterday after reversing here. And we did have this nice uptrend here that you can see it held, or that it kind of created here off the morning. And then we did get a breakdown, a retest, and then we with downward momentum, and we did get a nice push down, as you can see, to these highs from yesterday here. So a really nice move here on the S&P 500. And if you remember yesterday's video, we were talking about relativity and how important it is. So I do want to show that again today. Why here on the SPY, this is not the best entry when we did actually break down. Because if you look here on the Qs weren't breaking down. The Qs were still holding inside of it and getting a strong wick in a bounce. So that's why it came up for a retest and consolidated a while before finally rolling over and getting that reversal that we were looking for, right? And so that's why over here would have been a better entry, because you were getting downward momentum, obviously. But if you look here on the Qs were running into resistance. They were running into this 5 minute upper extreme here, and it was starting to get downward momentum. So that's why it would have been better to wait a little longer here, not just buying puts right here on the breakout. But we did like the SPY for puts instead of the Qs. As you can see, the SPYs were a lot weaker than the Qs because, obviously they broke down here out of this uptrend a lot sooner than the Qs did. They broke down a solid, about an hour before the Qs did. So yeah, there was a nice trade here on these put options. We were looking at the 398 puts, today's expiration. So if you did get in here somewhere, we'll just call it, somewhere in here. Whenever the Qs did start getting negative momentum there. So your on the first kind of take profit here down towards the these lows here, we are looking at about a 14% gain on those contracts, and then down through the low extension we're looking at around 37%. So yeah, nice trade here on the SPY put options. Yeah, so we made that trade in the morning, and then by the time this trade had played out, like, it bottomed out around 1 o'clock. And we did have that Fed rate decision coming out at 2 o'clock. So we had this nice, put option trade here to take advantage of this bearish reversal pattern. And then we did just stop trading. We just started chilling because there's no way I'm making any type of trade going into a Fed rate decision. As you can see, the extreme volatility, just massive spikes up through the 50-day and then big death candles down here through the 200-day. Huge, huge range here. We can actually turn the pre-market or post-market data on to see how it's kind of doing. Yeah, it's still just kind of working its way down here. But yeah, really interesting day. The Fed chair did say that they don't anticipate, or they don't, they're not thinking about any type of rate cuts this year. They are thinking about maybe considering a pause, but definitely not a cut. This 25 basis point hike they did have today was definitely like a strong consensus out of most of the Fed presidents. And the Fed fund futures are seeing a 62% chance of a 25 basis point hike coming up in May. So yeah, I mean it'll just be really interesting to see what happens here after this hike. Be interesting to see what happens with all the banks. See if we get any more that blow up here. And yeah, definitely let's keep an eye on this pattern here. This might get some more downside, so we might be looking to short again tomorrow, especially with like that daily I was talking about. I mean, this is just all selling, getting up towards that volume average. But yeah, pretty crazy day here. Nice trade. Only one trade though. But yeah, still nice profitable day. Even with all this craziness going on here in the market. Well, that'll do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching, and I will talk to y'all later.